There is a single 10-year stretch of your life that quietly decides whether you retire wealthy or whether you spend your 70s doing math on a napkin every time you go out to dinner. Almost nobody sees it coming, and by the time most people realize what it was, that window has already closed behind them.
This chart represents the standard path to wealth. You invest a small amount at age 25, the line stays flat for a few decades, and then it curves sharply upward toward a fortune by retirement. But this smooth curve assumes the money remains untouched for 40 straight years. In reality, life is a series of disruptions. Job losses, medical bills, and emergency repairs frequently slash that line, resetting the math long before the curve can take off. People in their 30s and 40s often look at these interruptions and assume they've missed the window entirely. They see a small account balance and conclude that they can no longer reach the end of the chart.
Time is only one half of the equation. The size of your contributions, the fuel, is often a more dominant variable than time alone. Think of compounding as the engine and your contributions as the fuel. This chart compares two different approaches. $100 a month compounding for 40 years looks great in theory, but $1,000 a month compounding for only 20 years actually beats it. The fuel being poured into the tank is simply that much bigger. The objective is identifying the specific phase in your life where ample time and disposable cash finally overlap. Let's walk through the timeline. In your 20s, you have roughly 40 years until retirement. You are rich in time, but you are at the bottom of the earning ladder, dealing with student loans and scraping together a deposit for an apartment. You have maximum time, but minimum cash flow. When you reach your 30s, your income climbs, but your mandatory life expenses explode right alongside it. This is the decade of heavy structural commitments. You take on a mortgage for a family home. You pay for daycare costs that rival a second housing payment. You buy bigger vehicles because the old car doesn't fit a child's seat. Every extra dollar has somewhere to go before it can ever reach an investment account. These structural commitments create a predictable trap, making the upcoming decade mathematically vital for your survival and retirement. This chart maps out a typical career earnings trajectory. Right around age 40, three vital variables line up. First, you hit your peak earning years. For most professionals, the absolute highest earning years of their career land somewhere between ages 42 and 55. Second, you still possess the required time horizon. At 40, you have 20 to 25 years before retirement. Historically, 25 years in the market allows your money to multiply by roughly 4 times. But if you wait until 55, you only have 10 years left, and that multiplier shrinks to barely double. Third, your major life expenses stabilize. The mortgage starts feeling manageable relative to your higher salary, and those massive early childcare costs disappear. Your income grows faster than your expenses, and a clear gap opens up between the two. That green gap is your surplus, peak income, stabilizing costs, real time left on the clock. Having all three at once is the rarest, most powerful wealth-building window you will ever get in your lifetime. To maximize this surplus, you have to protect the primary supply line. A job loss or severe illness in your 40s is devastating because you carry high obligations right in the middle of your most critical wealth-building window. Building a 3 to 6 month cash reserve and securing disability insurance ensures that a temporary setback doesn't wipe out your permanent progress. Once protected, look at this metric, contribution velocity. The absolute number on your paycheck isn't what matters here. You need to focus on the gap between what comes in and what goes out. That gap is the actual, tangible fuel available to invest. You also need to direct that fuel toward liquid wealth. Tying up all your money in a paid-off home looks great on a balance sheet, but you cannot use brick and mortar to pay your electric bill in retirement. You need savings and investment accounts that you can actually access and turn into cash flow. The required mindset shift for your 40s is simple. Stop chasing a bigger paycheck to fund a bigger lifestyle and start building liquid net worth instead. Picture two people facing this exact decade. Both are 40 years old, they each earn $120,000 a year, and they both have exactly $80,000 already invested. This graph tracks their progress to age 65. Path A invests 15% of their income consistently through their 40s. At historical market averages, that portfolio grows to over $1.1 million. Now look at Path B. They reduce their savings rate to 5% during their 40s. At age 50, reality sets in and they start panic saving. Even with a massive late push, they only reach $650,000. Identical incomes, identical starting points, but there is a permanent $450,000 void between them. That missing wealth is consumed by normalized lifestyle inflation. 5 specific choices siphoned away Path B's capital during their most critical decade: major housing upgrades, buying luxury vehicles, private education costs, allowing career stagnation, and the social pressure to match their neighbors' spending. The lost compounding time traded for these upgrades is gone forever. No amount of aggressive saving in your 50s can fully replace the growth that was skipped during your 40s. At age 70, the results are clear. Path A lives in a state of financial calm. They travel freely and absorb unexpected costs without stress. They have the flexibility to help their family because they prioritized their wealth window 30 years earlier. Path B faces a reality of constant calculation. They read restaurant menus price first and meticulously track how long their remaining savings will last. Decisions that should be small feel heavy because their margin for error is gone. These divergent futures are the direct result of decisions made 3 decades prior. They are the cumulative product of choices regarding housing, vehicles, and the percentage of income diverted into the market between the ages of 40 and 50. The next 10 years are going to pass no matter what you do. The only remaining question is which version of your 70s you are quietly choosing to fund today.